I'm glad to have Anthony with us here today. Welcome, Anthony.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. So, Anthony, can you please tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay. So, Anthony Gundipe, most people refer to me as Dr. Anthony Gundipe because I'm a medical doctor. I graduated from the Lagos University College of Medicine in 2012. Yeah, and so but before then, my story into tech started around the year 1999, 2000. So at that time, I was just a freshman from secondary school, and I had a lot of interest in computers. So I saw things that people were doing on computers then. I started learning software development. I did not even know that the name was called software development.
Okay.
My mission was to build a game. I was trying to learn how to build a game. So I asked somebody that was more knowledgeable about games. And he said, to build a game, you need to learn Visual Basic. So I picked up Visual Basic as a language. I learned Basic. Okay, build a form, do stuff like that. So at the end of learning Visual Basic, I saw there was still more to learn. So somebody else advised me, why not learn HTML? You'll be able to talk to the browser, get the browser to know what you want to do. So I started learning HTML. That's around the year 2000. At that time, I did not even know what web development was. I've never even used the internet. So, but I could do HTML, I could write JavaScript, do stuff on the system, impress people like, oh wow, you make that button move, you do that. So that was just like a kind of hobby. So eventually I had the opportunity of learning more things. Then around the year 2003, I saw a company. I was taking a school, and after a company now wrote website development term, and they now wrote some things like HTML, JavaScript, and I look, oh wow, those are those things I used to do. What is this company doing with this? So out of curiosity, so I walked into the company, introduced myself to the owner. Okay, what is this about? And now, this is a business. This is it. So I was surprised because I was wondering, so one can actually make money with it. And from there, that was how I was kind of like onboarded to the system and started doing some little things. So by the year 2004, I was already able to write small business applications. And so then there wasn't really so much, just to do a basic business application then, just in the home page about products and services, contact page, like usually a contact form that can send an email. That was a big deal to be able to do something as basic as that. Or to send a form and email, you need to know some other language. So that was how it all kicked off. And from that time on, I started building my career as a developer. So I worked with a number of companies. I started freelancing because then I was still in school. So there was no question about getting a full-time job. So I did a lot of freelancing, and the freelancing was fun because there was lots of challenges, and challenges that you have to keep going above your limit. You have something to do to require you to learn one other technology. We keep learning that way. So that was how I got into this. So by the time I was graduating, strikes and everything, by the time I was graduating around the year 2012, I rated myself as a mid-level to senior level developer, but with freelancing experience. So no corporate experience really at that time. It was more of freelancing, and I worked with some companies, but more as a freelancer. So by the time I finished my NYSC 2013, and I came back to Lagos, Nigeria, I was already quite good at what I do. I've already done some things before then. I've done the site for Mainstream Bank. I've done quite a couple of web apps and even a few software by then. So by the time I looked at it that rather than continue as a medical doctor, I have already, as far as I was concerned, already had like 6 years experience as a web developer. So that gave me the courage to just pursue web development. So after NYSC, there's no question of going to work in the hospital. So from that time on, I just continued what I was doing. Eventually, I I work with some firms, and today I'm a technical lead at Seamless HR, which is a Pan-African company that deal many HR solutions and a few other things. And I also consult. I also work with the company Telvida as a technical lead also. This is a firm that deal with different kind of software from software controlling webcams to getting applications and quite a number of applications. So that's what I currently do at the moment.
Awesome, awesome. That's a very interesting story. So you've been in the industry for almost, if I should say, about 17 years in your career. Wow, that's very interesting. So if I may ask, combining your studies, learning the fundamentals in tech, and then combining that with your studies, how did you manage that when you were in school?
So that's the question that I get asked a lot. And what I always say is that, the truth is that when it comes to learning for anyone, we all have activities, daily activities that we do. Some of those activities are necessary, some of them are not necessary. If you look at many people that are in university, a lot of them, even as busy as it is, they still take time to club, they still take time to hang out, play a game of chess, play a game of tennis, watch movies, watch football, and a lot of those things. While for me, I don't watch football. Like, I watch football but passively. I'm not an active, football fan. So that, in a way, to give me some more time. Then I was also able to reduce a lot of my activities, because before then, I started programming. I used to be an all-rounder. I read novels a lot. Do martial arts, karate. I play table tennis a lot. I play chess a lot, and chess takes a lot of the time. So when I started programming, I had to start dropping all these things one after the other. I dropped chess, I dropped table tennis, I dropped going to parties, unless I absolutely have to. So for many of those activities, like reading novels, I reduced them so that I could create more time for this. So, and I think that the secret to it is consistency. I was able to consistently create time to study every day on this, at least 1 hour, 2 hours on even the busiest of days, and I was quite consistent at it. And also, when there's any opportunity that presents itself, maybe there's a lecture-free week, there's a election, there's strike, or whatever it is, other students go home to play, but I would just sit back in the hostel. I love quietness. Like, then everyone will have gone home. The hostel should be quiet. Maybe a floor that should have like maybe 100 people can only have like 5. So there's a lot of quietness. Like, sit down, and in those kind of instances, I can spend like 12 to 16 hours daily in front of computer learning a lot of things. So I was able to maximize my time.
Awesome.
That is how I was able to do this.
Oh, okay. And from even what you said, you yourself, you didn't even know it was something that you could have a career out of. Meaning that by then, the information about it and then the resources that you used to learn wasn't that much. How were you able to study? What resources helped you in your learning journey?
Okay. So the resources were highly limited. At the beginning, I moved close to anyone that I know that is studying anything related to computer science. So at the point, I had a relative that was studying computer science at a PhD, what do you call this now? Not master's, postgraduate diploma. So that person did Java 2.0 was one of the courses. And so I took that book. That was around the early 2000s. So I picked that book then, that Java 2.0. I studied it, I practiced it. I studied it, no compiler, because there no internet. Even say you want to start downloading JPK and all those things. So I was just reading it over and over and over and over again till I was able to commit those things to memory. So I would also say that I have a photographic memory. I study something over and over and over again. kind of imprints my mind. So whenever I have the opportunity to practice, I do that. So as at those early times, there was no opportunity to practice. Eventually, I when I got into school, into the university to study medicine, an opportunity presented itself, and that opportunity came from of our ICT center, so they have this internet.
Okay.
So then no laptop. So but because I picked a little bit of skill here and there, so I used to help people repair their laptops. Like I know some little engineering stuff, and I can also set up and do stuff like that. So because of that, I always had laptops that can be pulled out. So I use those laptops to learn. I always have at least one or two laptops with me at certain points in time. So and I also borrow laptops from my friends to take to that ICT center to learn. I did not have access to it, so I sit down outside the mosquitoes, learning. I'll use mosquito repellent cream for my legs, my hands, sit down there in the night. I'm talking about like 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m. I sit down there practicing all these things until eventually I was able to take a loan and buy a system. Even the early work that I did, then I bought people systems to do that. So eventually, when I started making some money off, that's around 2004, I was able to. So I had a friend that was selling laptops then on loan. So I took the first laptop, I think for some 180,000 naira then. So I bought it and I was paying instrumentally. When I do a website, I think someone to pay like that until I finished paying for that first laptop. And immediately I got that laptop, I was not able to now, improve my learning, because now I was not limited by my laptop again.
Yeah.
So I learned a lot of things. So by the time I got the laptop, I would say that I was already at the level of a mid-level. I was already mid-level developer based on skills.
Wow.
Then I was somewhere beginner. I was at least at mid-level. I could do a lot of things. I could do a full website from front end, back end, UI, UX, all those things. So I could do those things quite well. As at that time, I've already mastered some frameworks like Joomla, Drupal, at those early times. So I was quite good to an extent. So that was how I was able to pick that up. And ever since then, it was a never-ending thing for me. I kept improving. And then for materials, again, as at this time, the internet was still a bit limited. After I got that laptop, I remember the one modem I got then from Starcom ISAP. That modem, the highest speed was 5 kilobytes per second.
Wow.
Yeah, that was the download speed. So you can imagine working 5 kilobytes per second. So I even with that, I was able to do stuff. At that time again, there was no Stack Overflow and many of these resources that we use. So I used to buy books. I go to the library, to the bookstores. So I buy books. I remember buying a book on HTML, fundamental, JavaScript, like that. So I buy those books, those programming books. I buy them, hard copy. I study them. I practice the code on the system until I was able to get them. Then some little things I could download, like manuals, and some of those things I download them so that I could read them. So I go through those manuals. Because then the goal was to cram as many code as possible in your head. Because I'm not just there's nowhere to go to. So then you could build a website completely offline without having access to internet, build everything offline. And when you finish working, everything is working, then you go online to publish it. Because internet was very limited then. And so look at the challenges then.
Awesome. So going around and asking your friends, trying to borrow their laptops and the rest, was there at a point anyone asked you what you were up to?
Oh, they did.
Okay.
And many of them just pick it as a joke, like this guy is just messing around with this, common things that some people just me and say, all these things are writing, will you bring out money?
Oh.
That are just wasting your time. Why not face being a doctor? So I got all those things.
Okay.
All those things, especially from my friends studying technology related courses. Many of them felt you don't need this, and so there was that too.
Oh, okay. So even getting all those kind of demotivation and stuff, what actually kept you going? What motivated you? What was your source of inspiration?
Okay. So I discovered after I started all of these things that yeah, though I did not really see it as something that would bring money at the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
but I love the creativity aspect of it. I love the fact that I can visualize something in my mind and I can create it using code, even if it's something as small as making something appear, disappear, move from here to there, and all those kind of things. So I saw it as fun because it was like a game to me.
Okay.
So yeah, it was like a game to me. So I did fun stuff. I remember a time when we had a professional exam coming up. Then we're still using Windows. I can't remember the version. Maybe Windows XP or one of these other Windows that have this active desktop that allows you to create an HTML page and make it as the background of your Windows application. So I remember creating a calendar that would be showing countdown to exams. So when you click on this, that is like a prototype of these calendars we have now for application like Teams that will be showing you meeting at so time. So I created it then to show you the countdown to calendar. So every time you turn your system, you do 35 days more, you see to mark it. So then look like, wow, what is this? This is interesting. So you can see the schedule of your calendars and all that. So I'm talking of like 2004, 2005, those early times. So, I just found fun in creating those things without even knowing that those things could one day bring money.
Okay.
So by the time I actually realized that this thing could bring money, I've already mastered some things like HTML, for JavaScript, and CSS, and also Perl, that's called extraction and code language. That is what we're using, CGI bind. That's what we're using before PHP came.
Okay.
So that was how it was for me then.
Okay. So spending most of your learning in the traditional way, reading from books and the rest, and spending less time actually practicing. And by the time that you were able to get a laptop on your own, I mean, what was the difference in terms of the learning speed and how you were able to also access resources?
Yeah, so the difference was that I was able to learn like at my own pace.
Okay.
So I could learn faster than before without the restriction of having to wait until a laptop was available, and sometimes weekends people want to take their laptop home, watch movies and all those things. So weekends sometimes I don't really have anything to use. So yeah, so this was part of the thing. But you see, I always try to look for ways to solve my challenges. So sometimes I go for cyber cafes to do night browsing, not because I want to use the internet, just because I want to learn. I just need a computer to learn. So I did a lot of those things then, be able to just have a computer to learn. So, yeah.
Awesome.
So that was part of the ways I went about solving the problem.
Okay, so let's go back to your first job or your getting a job in the industry. Starting out as a freelancer, how was your confidence level? Did you really think it was something you could do? What are some of the challenges that you came up with? Did you have any issue with your client that you worked with?
The first freelance job I did then, it was the website for a club, one case club or something like that. So job then I think I charged like 20,000 naira, but I did the job, I completed it, but eventually I got like 12,000 naira. That was my first job. So, but I was still motivated in the sense that at least I was able to do something of value. So I did that. Yeah, freelance was quite rough. I did some things that were, there's some things that you not really expect to make money from, and then you make that. There's some you even make more than that. The clients even be impressed and they even add more than what I was trying to do, what I initially charged for, and there were some that you not get paid at all. So I faced quite a number of them, but in all in all, I was always encouraged because I still felt that I was just motivated because I just started building. So for me, it's not always just about money. Sometimes you can ask me to do something simple. I've actually built it. You approve it. That okay, this is good. But I'll tell you, this thing out here is good, but I'm seeing some fraud here and there. I noticed something that if traffic increase on this, I might be calling, please give me like 1 week, let me, put in this, fix this and stuff like that. So, I do that a lot. I try to put completion into what I'm doing. I go the extra mile to make sure that it was complete. Because for me, it was not just about, means and ends. It was also something I love doing. I love seeing something, oh, this, I build this, it's working fine. So, so I did a lot of those things, even at no extra cost to the client. So, so I had some regular clients that worked with me for a while, even some people that subcontract projects to me for a long time like that. So I had those things.
All right.
So I should say that generally as a freelancer, I was quite successful.
Okay. Then I'm sure by that time it would have been a fulfilling, you would have been fulfilled because actually you were able to learn from there and getting a job, in side gigs like that and getting some little flow of cash in, it would have motivated you a lot. At least you could see the result of what you started out. But stepping back a little, starting out and being in an environment where people were not even seeing what you were doing as something that could bring results, and then not having any kind of structure in your journey, learning and those stuff, getting resourcing, and then because there was no structure, how were you able to go through? How did you know that if we come to front end, if you are learning HTML, you have to move to CSS. Maybe you pick a backend free language or something like that. How were you able to figure that out?
Yeah, okay. So there was a book I read, one of the first books I read then. The book was it explained everything from the beginning to the end. So it explained from the HTML to CSS to JavaScript, and it even discussed about hosting, and yes, FTP and all those things. So I've actually read and studied all those things before I got to real life experience. But when I start having, real life experience, I was able to see from developers. I was able to learn from developers that were already in the system. So I learned more. I was able to learn more because I had a friend then, one of my mentors then, who was already working in the production environment after that 2003. So he mentored me a lot. So he was working for a company. There were different applications for, a lot of companies there, messages, banks, a lot of those things. So I was able to learn a lot from that company and from that my friend, because the company they had developers on different levels. They had the .NET developer, they had the PHP developer, front end, back end. So I was able to learn in a lot of. Now when I get a Photoshop and all those things. So yeah, so that's from my friend.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about your first corporate job. How was your experience? How was your interview like? How did that influence? Getting on the job, was it difficult for you at the beginning, and even getting in after that? How did you go about your role?
Okay, so what I'll call my first corporate job, like when I say corporate, I mean doing a normal 8 to 5 and all that. That was data city. So it was before then I was actually working as a freelancer for them a while. So but when I started working fully at corporate, it was quite challenging because it was quite challenging for me. Yeah, because I was not used to all this going on out from one to night, face a lot of traffic, all of those things. By the time I face traffic, I face all of those things, I get to work, I'm already kind of like destabilized a bit. So the first of month and going back again, face traffic. So to me it was like I was wasting a lot of time. How can I be spending like 4 hours or 5 hours in traffic, every day? Like the waste of resources. But my employer did not see that way. So but the work was going on fine, it was interesting. I had the opportunity to structure things and do a lot of that. But the stress was too much for me. The strain was too much. I kept falling sick. So eventually I resigned due to that stress. So I resigned, and I went back to freelancing for a while again.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was my first experience working at a corporate job.
Awesome. Awesome. When you got into the job, did you work with other people, let's say designers, or you were just you were your own designer and developer?
Oh no, so we had a designer. I even as a matter of fact, that job, that first corporate job was actually as a tech lead.
Okay.
Yeah, so as a tech lead, so the developer, there was front end, but there was still a lot of coding to be done because they needed more developers.
Okay.
But because they were not company was able to afford extra developers at that time. So I had to do a lot of those things. It was not stressful. It was not stressful. It was just mostly because the company was not structured. So we did not really have all those positions. We later got a UI designer, but it was still quite stressful for me. Yeah, I think the main challenge was just the distance.
Okay.
You have to cover a lot of distance to get to work and all that.
Okay, so apart from the distance, that was a challenge. Being used to working on your own and then now joining a team. How were you able to go about that? How was your experience working with other people? Because at that point, if you have to work or continue your next project, you probably had to wait on another person to finish their part of the work before you can also continue. So how did you manage that?
It was quite challenging for me.
Okay.
But fortunately, the other developer I was working with, he was quite understanding, so we were able to understand each other. But it was challenging, quite alright, because you know how it is for someone that can work across tasks. When you see a task, you already know that if I'm doing this thing, it's going to take like 2 hours, and I can just do the front end, do everything. Now I have to wait for someone to start giving me UI design, slice it, do all those things, which I sometimes feel like as a waste of time. So sometimes in an emergency, I would just rather do everything myself. But that was at the beginning, so it was challenging because it was different from. It was quite different from working on your own.
Okay.
Yeah, it was challenging. Yeah.
Okay. What are some of the things that you learned, some of the skills that you learned when you joined the team that even up to now, you are still, it was helpful to you?
Oh, you are talking about my first job?
Yes, your first job that you got opportunity to work with other people. What are some of the skills that you learned, apart from your technical skills? What are some of the soft skills that you learned that even up to now is still useful to you?
Yes, so I have to learn to come up with workflows. I have to work on workflows, assign tasks, and then also to be able to estimate how to break those tasks into process, estimate the time that it takes to execute them. So I have to learn from managerial skills.
Okay.
I have to learn from managerial skills, which was challenging. Yes. So those are some things that I learned then, which still continue with me. And I also had to be a bridge between the management and the developers. So I have to understand the requirements of the managers of the management, and I also have to know how to break this down into what the developers will be able to deliver.
Okay.
So those are some of the skills I picked from there.
Okay. Did you come across any new tools in your new role that you previously did not know or you were not used to? Let's say if you had to work with maybe a new language, a framework, or the IDE that you had to work with. Was there any change, or it was just something normal or okay with you?
There was no change because before I started working with the company, I was the one that built all the stuff they were using at that time, like their website, the Android app, the iOS app. I built it for them. So there was no need to.
Oh, okay, awesome. Um, Now you've been in the industry for very, very long. You've seen a lot of things that has been going on. You've come across a lot of people, different people working in different industries. What are some of the challenges that you've seen with people that are coming in the industry or people that are starting out afresh?
So the first thing I see with people that are starting afresh is that many of them don't seem to understand what this whole thing is about.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe that people, before they even start writing codes or doing anything at all, they need to understand what they are getting into. Like, this is what I mean. At the beginning, then, let's talk about the year 2002, 2004. There was not so much things then. There were very few things. There's either you are doing a website or you are building an application to run on the desktop. And then the primary desktop was Windows. So
Okay.
if you are talking about building an application on the desktop, talking about Visual Basic, C++, and that. But now, in this generation, you have a lot of things. If you talk about possible web apps that CWA that can run on web and different mobile devices. We talk of responsive websites. We talk of web applications. We talk of blockchain programming. We talk of native apps, hybrid apps, and those things. So, and again, all these things too, they are also based on your environment. So
Okay.
different environments have what what works well for you.
Okay.
I see some developers in Nigeria that they will come and start shouting, they want to learn artificial intelligence, machine language, and all of those things. And I tell them that yes, it is good to learn those things, but how applicable are those things in Nigeria right now? Are they just jobs we just pick on the street from learning AI and machine learning? And the answer is no. Yeah, yeah. So and then I see some people, at the earlier time that they will teach particular technology. They say, oh, this is good. Oh, I want to learn Java. Oh, Java is there. Java runs across all platforms. And then I've seen some of them go ahead, say there's nothing to tell them. They'll learn it. At the end of the day, they'll be jobless because most of the jobs you'll find floating around, especially in freelancing, they are mostly PHP at that time. I'm talking of in the era where Node.js was not out, where there's no Python, there's no Golang. So then most of those things were web because then they have to be framework. Joomla is PHP, WordPress is PHP, Drupal is PHP. Even most of the custom things, all the small web codes that you find, you register a web code to support PHP. So Java was not something that just comes like out of the box like that. So if you learn something like JSP, it's not something you'll be seeing the requirements, the jobs every day, like, okay, you want to build an app with Java. Yeah, people do it. I mean, in the white country, yeah, it's quite more common, but here in Nigeria, it's not really so common. So I always tell people before you learn anything, look at your environment. You need to know where you want to practice it and try to see what is trending in your environment. Why will you go and learn something because you love it, but after learning it, there is no opportunity for it. So I've seen someone, I had a friend then who was so much intent on learning C++ then, every day C++, C++, C++. And as at that time, I've already seen that the trend was getting to web. So I've actually stopped all those Visual Basic. I was already learning HTML, all those. And I tried to tell those chat that if you're learning, you can, where you refuse to deviate, at the end of the day, you have to drop out of programming. I know quite a number of people like that. At the end of dropping on, like, oh, this is not paying me off. I'm not able to make money out of this. I just said my time, and they go. But for me, I always try to move with the times. When I see what is trending, and I see that the trend is changing, I drop something. I start, learning new things. So that is how I've been able to survive in the industry for so long and still remain quite relevant.
Awesome. As a developer or someone in the tech industry, most of the times, people are encouraged to build networks or form groups, those kind of things, meetups and the rest. Was there at a point that you also joined a community like that, or a community of developers, anything like that, to help you in your journey?
Yeah, I actually did not.
Okay.
I did not do that. I found it for me. I can self learn on my own.
Okay.
So I actually don't need a group to learn. Even when I was in school, people form discussion groups and those environments. For me, it was not my thing.
Okay.
I like setting my target. Okay, I want to spend this weekend doing this, and I pick that, and that's the way it works for me.
Awesome. Awesome. So in your current role, in your current position, what are some of the things that you do? What is your role?
Okay, yeah. So for senior teacher, I work as a tech lead of the implementation team. So for the implementation team, we do stuff like let's say a client has an Active Directory to sign in, or you have something, you have a tool that you want to use to authenticate the application, for example, that we want to integrate with our system. So my team does that. We analyze the tool, we work on, integrating it. Probably you may have your own CRM, which you have your people on, and then you want to use that as a means of, authenticating with our own application. So my team is one that, bridge that gap into those things. Yeah.
Awesome.
So that's just like some of what we do.
Okay. Apart from that, being in the industry for that long, what are some of the applications that you've built, or some of the applications that you built?
Okay. So some of those have built like let me try to put that into a better context. So for example, I built an Air Force website for our local airport, MMA2. Okay. So it was just a web app that has a lot of functionality, like ability to, book flights, also serve as a blog for the company to publish their content, and also synchronize with their flight information display system to show you arrival, departure, timing, and all those things. So that's the website. I also built at a time I built a tool for a stock exchange API, our Nigerian stock exchange API. The tool was something that API that can actually use in your application. Probably you want to pull back to see what is trending, what is not trending, or you want to compare one stock with another different companies, comparative graphs and charts. So I did those things that back in around maybe 2012 or so. I just built that as kind of like I built that online. I did not monetize it, so I call it one of my greatest apps. Some banks contacted me, but at that time I was not registered. So eventually it got to an extent where it's on search engine. It has a very good rating that when you search anything Nigerian stock exchange, it comes out first. So people even encouraging me to monetize it. But before I was able to do that, the stock exchange lawyer came after me and started giving me some conditions like you cannot run this. Because how I came about that application was I was studying how Google works, how Google index tries to piece together information. So, and I just decided to pick stock. And that also led to the creation of that because I just pulled data from different places and then put it together. I created a kind of intelligence around it to put all those things together, which is those kind of things that you find it in machine learning and those things. But I just did a small prototype of that engine back then. But the lawyers came after me and started giving me conditions like either I shut down or I buy license from them. And my explanation that I was not using the API, they're like, no, so far as it is Nigerian stock data, it is their data, it's their intellectual property, and all those big jargon. So eventually I had to just shut that down and just let it go. So it's a personal app. So I also built some Android apps. Like there was one I built for a kind of Uber like application. I built it on Android with native Android, Java. I also did an iOS version with native iOS. So just like Uber, I can. But this one was rather than ordering ride, it was more for delivery. So you want to deliver a project, to pick up, delivery, and that kind of thing. So I built that too as a complete. So I did the front end. No, I did the web app. No, not web app. Sorry, the website, mobile app, and also the API. So everything together.
So, did you build anything inclined to your profession in medicine? I feel you would have done something like that. Maybe, how do I put it? A pharmacy app or something like that related to.
Oh yes. So yeah, so I actually had that in the pipeline, but I've never been able to do that yet.
Okay.
Yeah. I think the problem is mainly that I get to positions quite alright, but the most of the private hospitals, the problem is that they have good ideas, they have good plans, but to pay for it is always a problem. So most of them want a web app, but they are trying to pay the rate for a website. So you cannot build a customized web app for a hospital for like a price of like 50,000 naira. It can't work. Many of them just feel that I think it's a knowledge gap. A lot of them just feel like, oh, to do this thing, so it's not just you just click and then do all this stuff. So they don't really see it as something you have to, really work, build, like get a team to do. They just see it as something you just invented, just sharp, full of like that. So that's one of the problems that I have with the hospital. The closest thing I built to that was a church. I would use an application with one of my friends. I built it for one of my friends. The application was meant to provide health information for people. It was also meant to serve as a way of being able to get a doctor online.
Okay.
You can get a doctor online. You can get the pharmacy online. You can even get the hospital. So we built this application back then, but to launch it now we had issues with launching. We were trying to run it through the government. So at a point we went to one of the government offices, Lagos State government, but there were some conditions that they gave us, which was very, very discouraging. So so we're not able to launch that. And according to the research that I made, so other people too have faced that.
Okay.
So which is why I still have a plan for that, but at the moment, no.
No. Okay. So looking at way back and now, there have been a lot of changes in the industry. There has been a lot of changes, and now there are a lot of resources, Stack Overflow, if you go to YouTube and the rest. How do you keep learning? Do you still go by the traditional way that you resort to books, or now you're able to go online and then consume some of those resources? How do you keep yourself up in the industry?
Okay, yeah. So the method for that has changed a lot over the years. So now I use the conventional way. I sometimes do some webinars. As I'm switching to right now, my company, let's say, they provide LinkedIn Learning as one of the resources. So I'm on LinkedIn Learning. So from there, I learned quite a lot of things. That's where I first learned about Kafka messaging system, and so I picked things up from there. I also do some courses on Udemy, like some of these new tools that have come out, like Flutter, and even things like Golang.
Okay.
So I use different learning resources to learn. Yeah.
Awesome. So what would be your message out there to people coming in the industry? Because there are a lot of people interested, trying to switch careers, but some of them have the fears that tech is difficult, or being a developer is difficult, or only software development is the career in tech. But there are a lot of opportunities in tech, if one would say. So what would be your message out there to people who are interested to break into tech?
So my message to them is that tech is the future, and that tech is quite wide. There's a lot of things there. So tech is not just limited to writing code. There are some other things in tech like product development, product management, and quite a number of things. And I always try to also make people understand that no matter before you get into tech, try to do a research into the different skills of tech. Have an orientation. So based on the orientation, know what is best for you. If you know that you love designing graphics, learn just go for a front end development. No matter that, if you know you like writing hard code like Java, go into back end development. So there is a space for everyone in tech.
Okay.
Yeah, that is the message.
Awesome.
You just have to look into it properly.
Okay. So in general, how do you think breaking into tech has influenced or impacted your life?
I would say that breaking into tech has actually helped me to be able to work better, work more efficiently. Because I work better when I'm able to plan my time and work at my own pace. Better than when you constrain me to work like from a particular time to a particular time. And so if you give me task, for example, I could decide that okay, some of these tasks I'm going to do it over the weekend. I'm going to do it in the night when there is more calm, when there is more. So that's the part of the way that influenced me.
Okay.
So it actually makes me work smarter.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Anthony. We wouldn't spend all your time. But before we let you go, how do we get in touch with you? If you have any social media handles that you want to leave, you can actually do that.
Okay. I'm more active on Facebook. Yeah, I'm more active on Facebook. So my Facebook ID is actually facebook.com/GHTML forever. That's for number GHTML for GDER. Yeah, GHTML forever. That is my Facebook handle.
Okay, and you mentioned LinkedIn. Are you on LinkedIn?
Yes, I'm on LinkedIn as well. Okay. If you search for me on LinkedIn, you will find me there. Just if you search for anthonyogundipe, you will find me on LinkedIn. I'm actually active on LinkedIn.
Okay. If there's anything you feel I didn't mention, but you'd like to leave out a message you'd like to see. If I didn't mention anything, you can actually do that.
Okay. So what I just want to also mention is that a lot of people, they feel that if they do not have a background in computer science, that it is a disadvantage for them. That it means that they will never be able to move far in tech. So some people feel that they have to go all the way back to study computer science before they can really get anywhere in tech. So my message to them is that it is not actually necessary. Most of what is required is first to be skilled, and then if you're able to do it, you can do certification. But the skills and the practical experience that you have, that the most important assets in technology.
Okay. Thank you so much.
I will also say that, yeah.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
The other thing I wanted to add was that, so sometimes people get discouraged that there is a lot of people in tech now that is no longer spending and all of those things. But I can say for a fact that it is not exactly the case. Many people are in tech now compared to before, but many of those people are operating at a low level.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of really there. Like if you look at even things like WordPress, which is like one of the most basic, you find that a lot of people that they claim to be WordPress developers, all they can do is just install and customize. They're not really into it. They can't build plugins. They can't do a lot of hardcore stuff in So there are many of them are not at a good level. So for someone that's ready to work hard, you can actually come in and within a short time you can make a niche. You can carve a niche for yourself in tech. Thank you
Okay.
very much.
Thank you very much, Anthony. We are so grateful that you joined us today. I mean, you had a very, very wonderful story, starting out and being demotivated, but still not listening, and then carrying yourself out, getting resources even when they were not available. That is a very wonderful story. And I'm sure that a lot of people are going to learn a lot from your story. And those who have interest breaking into tech would actually take that bold step today and then have a wonderful and successful career. Thank you very much and enjoy the rest of your day.